Today we're going to show you West Metro Fire's Engine 7. It is also known as a pumper truck and the mainstay of our firefighting efforts because it carries a pump which allows us to pressurize water. It fills the water hoses, which then allows us to put a fire out. The cab of a fire engine is very similar to some of the other trucks you might have seen. We have light controls, we have controls for the siren. Those are attached to a foot pedal. That way we don't have to take our hands off the wheel when we're navigating the streets and responding at a bit of a faster rate to a call. And we have all kinds of tools, all kinds of equipment. In this compartment we have a heart monitor / defibrillator, which allows us, it's one of the things that makes our fire engines ALS units. ALS stands for Advanced Life Support. In compartment 1 we have what we call a pony section of hose. The pony, part of that name, refers to the shorter section of hose. These two hoses are used to connect to fire hydrants so we can get a water supply to the pumper. In the midsection of the fire pumper we have pump controls. This allows us to control the pressure and water that goes to each hose. As you can see, there are different hoses with different names. A crosslay is a hose that's already preloaded on top of the truck, across the top of the truck, and it allows us to pull up to a house. It would be one of the first hoses we pull off the truck to try to put a fire out in a house. We pull it off the truck, it's already connected to the truck, and the engineer, who is a person in charge of controlling these, would come over and open the valve and then set the appropriate pressure. Right here we have a water intake valve, also referred to as steamer valve. This is what allows us to bring water from our hydrant or from another fire truck through the big 5-inch yellow section of hose. We connect that here, and that allows us to bring water into the fire truck. The truck is only equipped with 500 gallons of water, which will run out really fast if we're using the hose we talked about earlier. Remember the crosslay? That will run out in about 3 minutes when we're actually flowing water out of it. So we need a steady supply of water from the fire hydrants. On top of the truck, like we talked about, going across the bed of the truck, we have the two crosslays, and actually in this truck we have 3, but these are the 2 main hoses we'd pull off for a standard house fire. As you can see, they have 2 different types of nozzles on them. One's called a smoothbore nozzle, and the other one's called a fog nozzle. The differences between the 2 nozzles and on the crosslays, the smoothbore nozzle is a solid stream of water, which allows us to have more reach with the stream of water, a little bit more penetration, and more volume of water. The benefit of the fog nozzle is an adjustable pattern, which sometimes allows us to do ventilation with the water stream as well. It'll allow us to cover a little bit more of an area. In this compartment we have extra nozzles for our 2.5-inch hose. As you can see, they also have the option of a smoothbore nozzle versus a fog nozzle, which has the adjustable pattern. We have extra adapters for smaller hose. These blue adapters we use in a wildland fire situation. In this compartment we also have what we would call a cellar or a distributor nozzle. It allows us to put water into a void, maybe a hole through the wall or through a floor that we can't actually make access to put a fire out. We put this through an opening and turn on the water, and it spreads out the water in a 360-degree pattern. This compartment has what we would term as wildland tools that allows us to participate in a grass fire. Basically, we have a McLeod, a Pulaski, and different types of shovels. We refer to this part of the truck as a hose bed. It's a very important part of the truck because it holds what we call supply line. This side is 1,000 feet of 5-inch hose, which allows us to connect to a fire hydrant and have a sustained water supply because we don't want to run out of water in the middle of a firefight. The firefighter would get out and quickly grab this hose, pull it off the truck, wrap it around the hydrant, and then the truck drives off to get closer to the house, and the hose just feeds out of the back of the bed. This is 2.5-inch supply line, which can also be used to create additional hose lines of different lengths. This compartment holds a few things. On top we have our Gumby suit. It's also referred to a water rescue suit. and it allows us to stay dry. We can just put it all over our regular uniform and jump into an ice cold body of water like a lake to get a dog or a person out. Most people will refer to this compartment as a hand tool compartment. We have a variety of tools that allow us to make openings, open doors, cut into roofs, cut locks off, and cut chains off, etc. A lot of people ask us how we get to the ladders that are on top of the truck, and it's a very nice feature of the trucks. We call this a ladder rack. It's powered. Ladders on a fire truck are very important because they allow us access to second stories when we might not be able to make it through the first floor. We need to sometimes get people out of a building, or we need to provide a secondary means of egress, basically an emergency exit for firefighters that are inside fighting the fire. They might not be able to go back out the way they came in, so we give them another way to get out through a window but not having to jump off a second or third story. The fire truck you've seen has a lot of tools and equipment that is very necessary for us to fight fires and help people that are in need. One way that you can help us out is by remembering that when you see us or hear us coming with lights and sirens, you slow down and you slowly pull over to the right every time to get out of our way so we can save some time on the way to the call.